For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The United Nations Security Council will once again take up a resolution to deliver desperately needed humanitarian aid to Gaza today, after the U.S. rejected one for the fourth time Thursday. U.S. Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield said late Thursday the U.S. will support the new resolution that has been described by some as watered down. Christopher Martinez reports.
The ceasefire resolution, proposed by the United Arab Emirates, calls for a suspension in fighting in Gaza in order to allow delivery of humanitarian aid. It originally called for a cessation of hostilities, but that was later changed to a call for urgent steps to immediately allow safe and unhindered humanitarian access. That was an attempt to avoid yet another U.S. veto. Now the main sticking point seems to be language that would give the United Nations responsibility for inspecting aid trucks entering Gaza, something that is currently done by Israel. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby addressed questions about it during a White House news briefing.
Israel has had, and understandably so, has had a role in the inspection regime, a key role, a pivotal role, and we understand and respect that, and I think I'll leave it at that.
Meanwhile, at the United Nations, spokesperson Stefan Dujarric gave a briefing to reporters.
Obviously, what we would want to see is something that would facilitate the immediate, safe, and unhindered delivery of humanitarian aid.
I'm Christopher Martinez.
The United Nations warns nearly all of Gaza's population is hungry, 93%, but 1 in 4 Palestinians there are not just hungry, they're starving. This according to a new report from the World Food Program. Arif Hussein, chief economist of the WFP, says the levels of starvation in Gaza is unprecedented.
In the world right now, there are about 130,000 people who are in catastrophic levels of hunger, meaning they're starving. In Gaza, more than 500,000. That is 4 times more. And that is what makes this totally unprecedented.
The World Health Organization says even in hospitals, which have all been bombed, people with life-threatening wounds are begging for food.
They're starving. They're dying of thirst. It's too late.
Sean Casey is an emergency medical team coordinator with the WHO. He visited 2 hospitals in Gaza this week.
We're behind. There is not enough food. Every single person I speak to, everywhere I go in Gaza, is hungry.
In a statement, the CEO of Oxfam America blamed the starvation on Israel's policy choices and, quote, President Biden's unconditional support and diplomatic approach, unquote. In New York, thousands rallied in the streets last night demanding a ceasefire in Gaza, including major labor unions. They in part protested "Stop the bombs, end the killing." This as the death toll in Gaza has topped 20,000. Gaza's health ministry says 399 people were killed by Israeli forces in the last 48 hours. Israeli media is reporting Hamas is now rejecting an Israeli proposal for a 7-day ceasefire and hostage exchange. Hamas has said it would only release hostages when the fighting ends. An American-Israeli hostage in Gaza has died. 73-year-old Gadi Haggai died in Gaza, according to the Hostages and Missing Families Forum. She was among the 129 remaining hostages in Hamas captivity. Israeli media is reporting former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert is calling for a ceasefire and demanding Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's resignation. Rudy Giuliani has filed for bankruptcy. The former New York City mayor is acknowledging severe financial strain that's grown as a result of his pursuit of Donald Trump's lies about the 2020 election, which was made worse when a jury last week required him to pay $148 million to 2 former Georgia election workers he defamed. In a bankruptcy filing Thursday in New York, Giuliani listed nearly $153 million in existing or potential debts. That includes nearly $1 million in state and federal tax liabilities, as well as money he owes lawyers and millions in potential judgments and lawsuits against him. He estimated he had assets worth $1 million to $10 million. The Czech Republic's worst mass shooting in its history Thursday, FSN's Julia Chapman reports.
Czech police say a gunman who went on a rampage at his university was found dead with piles of ammunition. 14 people were killed in the country's worst ever mass shooting, and the gunman was found dead after killing himself. 25 people were also injured, and authorities are warning the death toll could still rise. I'm Julia Chapman.
And I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.